this meeting. I'm recording this meeting for any student that couldn't attend tonight. So you will notice that the record button will be on. If any of your friends couldn't come out tonight, I'm going to send the email of the recording to everyone because even if they couldn't be here, I want to make sure they have the information. My name is Angela Stork, and I work in the assignments and operations area here in UCCS Housing. And I've been here at UCCS for about 4 years. Anytime you have questions about assignments, billing, you got this weird charge, you don't know where it came from, you want to change rooms and because you're having roommate issues, any of those issues that come up, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. And if I'm not the one that's going to be handling your situation, I'll always redirect you to the right resource. For those that just came in, you're going to see on your screen a post survey. I'm going to go ahead and copy that link and post it in the chat for everyone. Because I know for some reason you can't see the chat history if you come in later than other folks. So that is there for you. If you are here today, you will get a bump in your lottery time slot date for attending the session, but you do need to fill out the pre-survey at the beginning and the post-survey at the end. So I do want you to stay for the full 30 minutes to get that credit. But hopefully you'll find the information useful and you'll be able to ask any questions that you'd like to ask me. All right, so we're going to start right in the steps. There's 5 steps to renewing your housing. Step 1 is apply for housing. Raise your hand if you've already done your housing application for next year or at least started it. Yes, look at the little hands. I love it. All right. So that's good times. I would really like it if you guys could get your applications done before you actually go in and select a room next week. Just makes it easier for you. You don't have to waste any time doing that. And it'll just be good to go. The most advantageous or best reason to have it done by Friday is that I'm going to be sending out an email with everybody's lottery time slot numbers. And we'll talk a little bit more about what is a lottery time slot and why it's important to you. And another thing I want to point out in the housing application is don't worry about room type preferences. If you remember when you filled it out as a first-year student, if you haven't been here for a while and you're still relatively new, you'll remember it asks you, what kind of rooms would you like? Rank them 1 through 4 or something like that. Which village, what room type? Don't worry about that because I will never look at that. You're going to choose your own room, whatever room type's available, wherever you want to live, if that's what you want to do. So you'll be prompted to fill out room type preferences, but I would not give it a ton of thought because you're going to choose your own room anyway. Step 2, checking for your lottery time. So that when you apply for housing by noon on Friday, you're going to get your lottery email by 5 o'clock on Friday. See how that works? It's also going to be viewable in your housing application, but you can't actually see it until it's been assigned. And I cannot give you a lottery time slot until you do the housing application. So that's how, everything kind of goes in a little bit of a domino effect. Your lottery time slot is going to be based on credit hours that you earned at UCCS at the end of last fall. It does not include transferred in hours. So if you just started as a UCCS student this past fall, you took 15 hours in the fall here at UCCS, but you transferred in 60 because you're a junior, those 60 transferred hours will not count towards your lottery time slot. The reason we do that is because we think that being a housing resident is a commitment, and we like to recognize class seniority in terms of your classification, but we also want to recognize the time that you have spent living here. I think it's a better situation or more fair for me to give someone who has lived here for 3 years already a better time slot than someone who just moved in last semester. So that's kind of how we figure out the fairness in terms of choosing your room for next year. And then this time slot is the date you will log in physically to your online housing application and choose your new room if you elected not to renew your current space. So knowing where you want to live and with whom. So what's the difference between renewal and room selection? What am I talking about? Renewal means you are in a great room right now and you really love your room and you want to be in the same room next year. so that any student that's in an eligible space can renew their room for next year if they really like it. Does that mean that you get to live there all summer and be there in the fall? No, it does not. Does it mean you get to store your belongings in that room over the summer? No, it does not mean that either. We actually use every building on campus for summer conferencing, and there's going to be a bunch of little high school students running around everywhere, living in our residence halls over the summer, so you would not be able to leave things. It simply means you're in this room right now, and you want the exact same room for the fall. So that is renewal. Renewal occurs for every student. Every housing student that wants to renew is going to do it on Monday, March 2nd. That is the only day that you can renew. If you decide you're not going to renew your room space for next year and you want to select a different room instead, your room after Monday goes up for grabs and anyone can take it. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you select your room for renewal, then you can't select another room. So it's like, what do you want to do? You want to keep your current room, or you want to take chances on getting something better? And then if you do select a new room space, you're going to do that on your lottery date. The lottery dates, see if I have it. I thought I had it listed on the last page. The lottery dates are going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So on Wednesday, it's going to be juniors and seniors. It's going to be students with credit hours 60 or greater that have all been earned here at UCCS. You're going to be able to choose your room on Wednesday. If you are a sophomore and you have between 30 and 59 earned hours, you can choose on Thursday. And then first year students or anyone else, maybe you just started in the spring and you're brand new and you just started in January, all of you are going to be selecting on Friday. You're getting an advantage because you're here at this presentation. So you will get a 1-day bump in whatever your assigned date is. So if you're a freshman and you're supposed to pick on Friday, as long as you attended this and listened and you do the pre and post survey, you're going to get to select on Thursday instead, and I'll make that adjustment for you. Let's see, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on this page. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am seeing the questions come in. So I'm going to try and answer a couple of those before I go to the next page. Emily asks, if we want our same roommate, but they were not able to attend either meeting, are they able to be added to the roommate group? Yes. The answer is yes, but you have the order incorrect, Emily. So you'll want to be able to go into your application and confirm your roommate group before you go in and select a room, not after. So if Emily wants to be in a roommate group with, let's pick a couple people. So Emily, Abby, and Audrey are all going to be in a room together, and we're super psyched. You should establish your roommate group inside your housing application, and whoever you pick to be your group leader should be the person with the absolute best lottery time slot. So if Emily decided she wants to set up this group, but Abby's a senior, and Abby gets the prime selection time, then you better be changing Abby to your group leader because Emily and Audrey will be able to pick on the same day as Abby, even if they're freshmen and they're supposed to pick on Friday. So that's kind of, there's so many little nuances to learn about room selection. But if you just remember, have your roommate group established and confirmed, you have to be verified, and it should say verified. And have your person with the most seniority in your roommate group, have them be your group leader, because then your group leader can assign all of you at the same time through the housing application. We will take some questions about summer housing, yes, at the end. So feel free to go ahead and add those in the chat. If you're a senior and you want to stay in your current room, then you will just select your current room during the renewal day. That's Monday, March 2nd. You log into your housing application and you will go ahead and choose your same room. It's super handy dandy, easy peasy. All right, and Juliet, I think I answered your question. If I didn't, please ask it again at the end. I think it was similar to what Emily was asking. But just know that the group leader, if you have a confirmed roommate group, the group leader will be able to assign everybody in the group on their lottery time slot day. All right, so that's all for questions right now. We're going to go to the next slide. So step 4 is knowing how to work the system. So what are the pros of renewing? Pros of renewing, keeping your current space for next year if you're eligible. If you're not eligible, you should have already received an email from me or from the housing account saying, whoa, 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 your room is not eligible for renewing next year. So make sure you know your lottery time slot to choose a new room. Check your email if you've not received it, just to double check. It would have been over the last couple of days. But the pros of renewing if you're eligible is you already know the room you're in. You know that it's proximity to the laundry room. You know where the elevators are. You don't necessarily know that when you're talking about picking a new room space. You may pick this great view on the 5th floor of Chavano, and then you come to move in and find out that the elevator's down for 8 weeks. And I wish I was lying about that. So these are so these are the things you just kind of need to think about when you're choosing where your room's going to be. Yeah, the 5th floor view is awesome. But if you can't take the steps when the elevator breaks, and that's they sometimes do, think about that very carefully. Fill the room. Oh, fill the room. I almost couldn't remember my own thing. The fill the room period preference, we're going to talk about that in just one second. And then anybody who is looking for good roommates, but you don't have a lot of friends, or maybe your roommates are graduating and you need to find some new roommates to fill your apartment. We're having a roommate speed dating event on Thursday, and it's going to be at the Lodge Dining Hall. So it's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Lillian Hogan is going to be hosting that event, and you basically get to meet a ton of new people. Even if you don't end up living with them, you might just make some new friends there. It's a really fun environment to be in. All right, before I go to step 5, I'm going to pop back to the chat real quick. Damien asks, if you sign up for Alpine Apartments, are you able to choose a different meal plan? Great question. Alpine Apartments does not require any meal plan because you have a full kitchen in your apartment. So the price of the room is a little bit higher as a result, because you do get that added full kitchen as an amenity there. But you do not have to have any meal plan, but you can opt in, of course. You can do a 25, a 50, a 150, or a 300. If you get a 25 and you use it up halfway through the semester and you want another 25, you can do that. So there are a lot more options available to you if you live in the Alpine Apartments. Copper will also be an upper class residence for next year. In Copper, you will be able to have the 150 meal plan block or higher. Unfortunately, we are not able to continue our renewing meal plan where students who renew got the 150 meal plan. We cannot do that anymore. So if you are not in Copper or in the Alpine Apartments, every other building will require every student to have a 300 meal plan. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. Excuse me. Olivia asks, if you submit the housing application for the Alpine Apartments and you decide to back out before summertime, is there a penalty? Um, Not really, Olivia. That's one of the things that we're moving to. I mean, we hope that you'll not hold a room for too long. If you're gonna reserve a room and pending something else off campus, totally understand that, but try to make that decision as soon as you can because you don't want to hold that space from another student who might like to have it. So just make that decision when you can. There's not going to be any penalty because we are no longer doing damage deposits. Um, Starting in fall 2026, students are only required to pay the $100 application fee. There's no damage deposit. And every student that's currently living on campus that has a damage deposit held in custody will get it credited back to their account at the end of the spring. So no more deposits. And if you paid one, you still have one rolling with us, you will get it back at the end of the spring term. Great question. Okay, we're going to go ahead and proceed to the next slide. Step 5, fill the suite or the apartment. This is new and improved, and I hope this is going to go well and that people are going to like it and not hate it. Next Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., I'm going to be sitting in the La Plata Commons, and if you have 3 to 4 students that you know you want to room with, you can come in on that day. and select a room with me, no matter when your lottery time slot is. So if you're a freshman student and you're like, oh man, I'm really freaking out. What if all the 4 bedroom apartments are gone by the time it's my time to select? Or I really want to stay in my 3 bedroom VAV suite next year, but I'm afraid someone's going to take it. So as long as you're going for a 3 bedroom or larger apartment, we're not going to do 1 or 2 bedrooms because those are too popular and there's not enough of them. But if you want a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment and you and your roommates can fill every bedroom in that apartment, you can come in on Tuesday and I will plug you into the suite of your choice. I will help you select a suite. I will show you the floor plans so that you can see where they are, and it lets you jump the line. Because the one thing that I struggle with the most during room selection is students who go in and sporadically take a random bedroom in a 4 bedroom apartment. Because when that random student takes 1 bedroom in a 4 bedroom apartment, they've set the gender for that apartment. They've made it fewer spaces available for roommate matching. So my goal is to fill up as many apartments as I can so that we have a bunch of empty apartments for new students and that are going to be added on throughout the recruitment cycle. So I hope that makes sense. Just know that on Tuesday from 9 to 4, La Plata Commons, if you come over with your roommates or you're all in a confirmed roommate group. So let's say Audrey wants to come, but all of her roommates are in class all day long. As long as you're in a confirmed roommate group, Audrey shows up and all of Audrey's roommates have applied for housing for next year, I can still plug you in, even if your 3 roommates are not there with you. So make a note of that. Come over and take advantage of it if you can. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the questions super quick. Gabe is asking, even if your lottery date is later in the week, can you still renew to your current room on March 2nd? That's the choice, Gabe. That's the choice you got to make. You either renew your room on March 2nd and forego the lottery selection, or you give up your room and pick a new room on your lottery date. You have to pick one or the other. That said, the week after next is what we call room swap week. So if you renewed or you picked a different room and you're like, oh man, I changed my mind. I met a new person. We really gel. We want to live over here. Or you see the roommates that are assigned to your room and you're like, oh, I can't live with that person. I'm going to have to pick another room. You'll be able to go back into the housing application for that whole week after renewals, which I believe is like the 8th to the 12th or something like that. And you can pick and choose rooms to your heart's content. You can say, I want to live here, and then 2 days later say, I want to live here. But once that week is over, you're where you're at. You're not going to be moving around too much after that. All right. Bryce is saying, asking about the pre-survey. The pre-survey closed at 7:15. So if you didn't come in before 7:15, you cannot fill it out. Unfortunately, the post-survey will be open here in a couple of minutes, and I'll be posting that as we're wrapping up. But it was, the intention is for someone to come in and attend the entire session. All right. So let's wrap up. A few more things, because I know we're kind of burning through time here. I want to show you the pages in the application just so you can see what they look like. You won't be surprised when you go in there. It's just some people like visual aids. The first thing I want to show you is the Resident Resource Hub. This is a new resource available to all current residents or anyone who's lived with us really on campus. They can, if they still remember how to log into their portal, they can get in and look at the Resident Resource Hub. The first thing they're going to see is their portal inbox. So if you're like, man, I cannot find that email that housing said they sent me, check your portal inbox because it's only going to be messages from housing or messages from roommates that want to live with you. And you'll be able to see them there in order. Also in here, you're going to see the appointment scheduler for move-in next year, move-in, move-out tips, loft checkout. Once you get here, events and programs is not populated yet. We have not started using that, but we plan to, so you can have a place to go to see what's going on at all times. There's a link here for housing renewal, and literally that takes you to a page that answers questions. It walks you through this whole thing step by step. This video will be there if you forget anything. And if you're in the middle of your application and you just can't figure out, that's what that button's for. You also have maintenance requests. You can see if you have packages waiting. You can submit a room change request. So we want to make that living on campus as easy as we can for you. If you're moving off campus, this is also handy because I get these requests every day. You need your live on campus occupancy history. If you go in here and click this button and print the page, you have just printed your occupancy history for any apartment you need to apply to. So keep note of that. If you need to set up your mail forwarding address, we do mail forward to students for 6 months after they leave housing. So if you need a temporary mail forward, we can do that. And then, of course, cancellations, petitions, if you ever need to leave your contract. All right, so when you go in to look at your lottery time slot, as I said, you'll be able to see when your lottery time slot is, when it's assigned by going into your housing application. It comes right after the roommate matching page. And I don't know if I've said this before, but it's always easier to see and navigate the housing application if you do it on a laptop or an iPad instead of doing it on your phone. So think about that as you're doing that. You can do it on your phone, you just can't always see these helpful navigational things. But the lottery time slot date is here. Disregard the hour. If you have a lottery time slot, it is good from midnight to midnight. So the midnight morning of whatever date to 11:59 that night, you'll be able to log in and select a room. I did want to point out the portal gets laggy and it will crash if more than 100 people log in at a time. That's very rarely happens, and it's usually on the Friday, freshman day, when most students are trying to select their room. So if it crashes or logs you out, just try to log back in a couple of times. Typically, if you try a couple times, you can get back in, or wait a little bit and try again. Room renewal for the students who are in a room now and they're like, man, I love this room. I want it again next year. You're going to come to room renewal. It's right after the lottery time slot. This page will only appear on Monday. If you try to go in at any other time, you're going to be like, she said that menu was right after lottery time slot. I don't see it. You will not see it unless you log in on Monday. Again, that's midnight to midnight on Monday, March 2nd. You'll see your room listed here. You'll select it and basically save that, and you're done. If that's all you need to do is renew, you're done on Monday. And then on your lottery day, when you log in, you're going to see room selection. And you're going to see these helpful little tiles that show you how the rooms are laid out and what you can fit in them. And then you'll be able to select a specific room. Once you do that, you can get into the little configurations over here. You can pick the different room types, the different areas. And if you don't see any rooms pop up, like this is empty, says no rooms match your criteria, it means one of two things. Either you've whittled down your specifications to something that doesn't exist. Like you picked Antero, but you picked Village at Alpine Valley and you picked SV Copper. That's not going to yield a result because none of those things can exist at the same time. I recommend you eliminate the areas. Don't even click on them, because if you pick a room that says SV, you know it's going to be Summit Village. If you pick a room that says Alpine, you know it's going to be Alpine. So you don't have to worry about this part. And then you can pick specific buildings if there are specific buildings you want to live in. Once you find one that looks good to you, you just click the select button. In this particular case, I picked Antero 402A. I thought that was a good one and a good place in the building. And you'll see it says remove room now. I couldn't go over here and say, no, I want 204, unless I remove room and then select 204. So keep that in mind as you're going through. You'll pick it, you'll save and continue, and then you'll get to this page. It's going to show me the spaces available in the apartment I picked. And a special note, like I said earlier, for the roommate group leaders, You can select rooms for others in your group. So if you have a verified, awesome, tried and true roommate group, your roommates' names will also appear, and you can be like, I want Sally Sue in 402A, I want Jody in 402B, I want Samantha in 402C, if there's a C, and you can actually plug them, and then you'll assign beds as long as you're the group leader. I can't emphasize that enough. All right, so make sure that it's the group leader that is picking those spots. Once you've assigned all the spots, you click Save and Continue, and you are done with that. You'll be able to see the roommates in your room on the application status page, and this is updated as soon as somebody is assigned to a spot. You'll be able to see them here, their first and last name, and you'll be able to send them a message. The message goes to their portal inbox. So if they don't log into the portal to check it, they may not get it. But at least you can look them up based on their first and last name. And this will appear blank until someone takes it. So yeah, go back in here at any time if you want to refresh and see who is in that space. Okay. All right, I'm going to go to the questions here real quick, but I want to do a quick pop quiz, and I would appreciate it if when you answer, you unmute yourself and answer the question if you know it. Just shout it out. How will I know my time slot? Anyone who knows the answer.
It'll be sent to you.
Yes, that's right. Does anyone know the second way to find out your time slot besides the email that's coming out on Friday?
In your
Housing
portal.
application?
Yes, yeah, log into your application, and if your time slot's been assigned, you'll see it on your application. All right, can I sign up for myself and my roommates? Who knows the answer?
Yes.
Yes, you can, but what do you have to be?
Group leader.
Group leader, yes. Woo-woo. Okay. Why can't I see a certain room type when I'm shopping for a room?
It's probably taken.
It's probably taken. That's a good assumption. So it's either we're out of that room type, and there are some, I will let you guys know now because I want you to be prepared when you go in and select your rooms. Anyone who has the hope against hope that they're going to get a one-bedroom apartment in Alpine Apartments. There are 5. There are 5 total, and most of them are already assigned to people with ADA disability accommodation needs. So if you are selecting on Thursday and Friday, there's really not a chance. And even if you're a senior picking on Wednesday, there's probably not a chance. I don't say that to discourage you. I just want you to know the options are available and not to, spend a lot of time looking for something that's not there. We have far more 2-bedroom units. So if you are interested in being in a 2-bedroom, I would look for that one as soon as you log in. And then, of course, we have lots of 4-bedroom units. That's by far the biggest inventory that we have in Alpine Apartments. The other reason why you may not see a certain room type is if you have your criteria settings in a weird, janky way that's never going to return a room space because it doesn't exist. Why aren't certain buildings appearing when I go to apply for a specific room? Anybody know that answer? Anybody get the emails saying your building's going to be closed next year? We are taking several buildings offline for next year, just due to not needing them, wanting to do some refreshing of them, and also we're going to be using them for some other purposes on campus. So I will let you know Aspen, Steamboat, and Telluride will not be available in Summit for next year. And Kucharis is being completely repurposed for all residential learning communities. So if you live in Kucharis, you will not be able to select a room in Kucharis. You'll have to look at La Plata or San Juan or the apartments if you want to stay over in BAV. Okay, why can't I renew my room? Anybody want to answer that one?
You're not eligible.
Not eligible. Why would a room be ineligible? As a follow-up question, 5-point bonus.
Being taken offline.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so it's in one of the buildings that's taken offline. It could also be ADA accessible. So if you know you're in one of those rooms that has a shower seat or it has a roll-in shower that's configured for wheelchair access, that kind of stuff, we always save all of those rooms for students with disabilities, and then we give them away if we don't need them once we can make that determination. That brings me to the point of wait lists. If you want to be on a wait list for a particular room type, we will be starting wait lists for our more popular room types. That's typically the 2-bedroom apartments in Alpine. Once they run out, you can immediately be request to be placed on the wait list. But don't wait for that. Go ahead and pick another room while you're waiting for it, and then we'll move you from the room you chose to the waitlisted space when it becomes available. We also have wait lists for 2-bedroom apartments and or 2-bedroom private units in VAV. A lot of those are disabled access that we have to hold, but we release 4 or 5 of those suites between now and the time school starts as well. And then there's a post survey. Everybody jump on. Here, let me copy it for you. Oh, hold on. Try from this side. Go ahead and put the post survey in there. Make sure you fill that out, and I'm going to go back to the questions that I missed while I was finishing. Let's see. Are there any open apartments in VAV currently? There are none that are fully vacant. So I wouldn't have anything to show you that you would be going into. We only have shared bedroom apartments that are completely vacant right now. Or they're not even apartments, they're suites. So when I say suite, I mean anything other than the Alpine apartments. And when I say apartment, I mean only Alpine Village apartments. There are none open. There should be this summer because we don't use all of them for the summer. So if you want to come take a look at it over the summer just to get measurements and stuff, you're completely welcome to reach out to us, and we'll do those on a case available basis. Sorry, I'm scrolling too fast. Jacob asks, is there any way to control what contact information is sent to roommates? Last year, it sent them all my personal email addresses. I can. No one has ever asked me to limit that, but I can. If you just want it to be your UCCS email and your mobile numbers so they could text you, we could limit it down to that and just get the personal emails and home numbers and stuff out of there. Not a problem at all. Thank you for asking, because I thought that was a little bit to share too, but it's been shared like that since before I even started here. So I will try to make that change coming into the current school year. Thank you for bringing it up. If you only have 3 or 4 roommates, will the 4th be randomly assigned? Yes. I mean, it's kind of random, kind of not. We will fill the extra bedroom. We try to find someone who will match your roommate profile as closely as possible, but it's not always possible. Especially when we're filling spaces kind of at the last minute. We just have to plug people in. The apartments always fill. So that's one thing. While we're kind of short in other areas on campus, the apartments are pretty much always full. So you will get a random assign if that scares you, that you might get a 4th roommate randomly assigned. I would go to the roommate speed dating and capture your own 4th roommate. That's a great place to do that. Meet someone that you can think you can get along with, and then you have a 4 out of 4 roommate group. Gabe asks, where will we see the renewal tab? Let me see here. So it will pop up under lottery time slot, I believe. Oh, yeah, there it is. So the room renewal will pop up below the lottery time slot, and it'll only appear on Monday the 2nd. And then if you logged in on Wednesday, in that same spot is going to be room selection. So this will disappear and room selection will take its place on your lottery time slot day. Kiara asks, how do credits work for the apartments? What if you apply for them but end up not meeting credit requirements? Great question, Kiara. You do not have to meet any credit requirement to live in the apartments. As long as you've lived on campus for 1 full year, your reward is getting to move to the apartments. Even if you're 19 and you're not over 20, like we typically require, a new student that wants to live in the apartments has to be 21 or older, and they have to be upper class or transfer. But if you are a current resident that's lived on campus for a full year, you can live in the apartments, even if you're under 20. See what else we have here. Riley asks, they've started their housing application but not submitted it yet. If I'm understanding, I finished submitting it before this Friday and return to the page on your assigned lottery day to do room selection. Is that correct? Yes, absolutely. You have everything. Even if you don't finish it by Friday, you can do it on your room selection day. I just recommend having it done and out of the way. So when you log in, it just takes you right to the room selection tile and you pick the room. It makes it a lot easier on you and it makes it faster. So you can really get in there and grab the room you want. Okay. And Wyatt asks, is it the same for room renewal? Yeah, I would go ahead and have your housing application done before you go in to renew. I mean, it doesn't really matter, Wyatt, to be honest with you. No one else can pick your space on renewal day. The only room you're going to be able to pick is your own. So as long as you do the application and everything by the end of the day on Monday, you're good. Just don't try and call me if you have technical difficulties at 9 p.m. on Monday night, because I will not be available for troubleshooting. And that's another thing to keep in mind too. Even though the application and the renewal periods and stuff are open from midnight to midnight, the only time Angie's working is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So if you need technical assistance, you're not going to be able to reach me outside of business hours. All right, Julietta asks. Okay, that was a direct message. Sorry, I'll get back to you, Julietta. Emily, summer housing question. I'll go ahead and answer this. You've been so patient. Is summer housing only open to students who work summer conferencing if you take summer course? In answer to your question is yes, yes, and yes. So if you're a conference assistant, you can live on campus for the summer for free. If you take summer courses, you can pay to live on campus for the summer. If you're not taking summer courses, but you are registered for fall courses, you can also live on campus for the summer. So you do not have to enroll in a summer class technically to live on campus for summer. You do have to live in Crestone or Chauvenot because those are the only two buildings that we house summer school students in. So just remember, if you do want to do summer housing, you'll have to move and then move back to wherever you're moving. However, if you're going to do summer housing, pick a room in Crestone, and then you won't have to move because I'll put you in summer housing in the room you'll be in for fall. So I really try to work to get those efficiencies going. Alex is asking, with the 150 meal plan going away, what other plans besides 300 are there to choose from? The 150 is not going away. It's just going away as an available option for students living in the residence halls. So if you live in Copper, you can still get the 150 meal plan, or you can opt to upgrade to the 300. If you're living in the Alpine apartments, you don't have to have any meal plan. The optional meal plans in the apartments are 25 meal block, 50 meal block, 150 meal block, or the 300. The 300 Platinum is also coming back for next year. So if anyone wants to supersize their meal plan, that option will be there for you. All right, any other questions? Amazing, amazing. Let's see. Oh, Olivia says, can you change the meal plan after submitting the application? Yes, you can. Right now you can't. I am configuring the logic in the application right now. So once you pick your room, you'll be able to go back in and change your meal plan. That ability to change inside the application is going to end around July 1st. So make sure you have it solidified by then. If you need to change your meal plan after that, you can do so up until the census date, which you guys know is the drop dead date for withdrawing from school, 2 weeks into the semester, I think it is. But After 2 weeks into this semester, you cannot downgrade or upgrade your meal plan at that point. So make sure you have it set by that point. A lot of students will say, but I don't use my meal plan. I can help you find ways to use it, but I cannot downgrade it for you after census. So something to keep in mind. I want to help you guys out. Is it possible to choose like the 150 block meal plan and then add more dining dollars? Again, the 150 block is only eligible in Copper or the apartments, but yes, absolutely. It wouldn't be dining dollars though. If you wanted to supplement, you could do so with Clyde's Cash, which works basically the same way, except you can also use Clyde's Cash for pop rents printing. And that also there's going to be a deadline for that as well. So if you want to add Clyde's Cash, you have to do it before census date. It is a lot of manual input for me, so I have to draw a line when that can be added. So you can add Clyde's Cash all the way up to census date, but you'll have to request it through a different route. So thank you for bringing that up. I will put a link where it makes it simple for you to add Clyde's Cash so that it won't be too difficult. Keep an eye out. I'll send you probably another email. All right. Any other questions? I've really taken your time today. I appreciate all the questions you guys have been asking me. I think this is going to be a great resource video for anyone who couldn't attend today. If you ever need to reach me, my office is located in La Plata 107. And I'm the one that answers basically 90% of the emails that are sent to the housing email account. So if you need something answered, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.